Hello YouTube, this is Steven with On My Way to FIRE, a YouTube channel here to track my journey on early retirement. Alrighty, well I wanted to get into a topic today about tracking your progress and setting goals. This is something that's been in the forefront of my mind for several years now, probably on about year 12 overall, 14 in terms of investing. And it's been a long journey just getting this far. And I wanted to kind of provide some tips here of what I've been doing and how I evaluate things. So in the beginning, I would just kind of daydream about what it would be like to not be working anymore, a 9-to-5 type job, be on my own schedule and how to make money investing. I had no idea what I would be doing. So through a lot of trial and error, I've been investing in different mutual funds, ETFs, closed-end funds, single stocks, you name it, I pretty much tried it. The one group that I probably didn't get involved in was something called MLPs. These are master limited partnerships. And if you earn enough money through the dividends with those type of stocks, you'll end up getting something called a K2 form, and you have to file something special with your taxes. And I just didn't want to deal with that. So let's start from the beginning. I was mainly buying mutual funds and just loading them up and getting many shares as I could. And every quarter you get paid a dividend. And I look forward to that. And let's say I had $10,000 in that mutual fund. On a quarterly basis, I was probably getting something around $100 to $125 in dividends. And I think that's it. That's all I get. And so it was a little frustrating as far as seeing progress. The fund itself is going to fluctuate based off the market. So you could be negative on that. I could be at, let's say, 9,700, and here I get my dividend of $125, so I'm still negative on what I invested. So doing that taught me something about long-term investing, how to be patient, and really just not being in a super hurry to see these things appreciate. Part of it is just learning what happens in the market, how events in the market affect pricing, my own personal budgeting, how much extra money I had per month. So probably after about 2 years of investing in these mutual funds, I switched to primarily just trading stocks on my own. And what I'd say I learned from that is I had more control, and I could buy more shares as I had money, and I could easily reinvest the dividends or just take it as cash. So as that time went on and I did this with the single stocks, I should have at the time start writing down how much I was earning, how much in dividends I was getting, what the stock price was, what my gains were. I didn't do that. So I do regret not tracking that kind of information and seeing the progress over the years. With my 401k, I can use statements, and I backdated all the progress on that. And I do have a tracker that I created in Excel, and that gives me a good insight of what happened during the market at that time. But unfortunately, I didn't do that with my single stocks or my Roth IRA. So going back with that in mind, I started using the Notepad app on my phone, and I would write down pretty much any goal I could think of and just keep adding to the list. And let's say I was going on a walk or I was on a break from work, I'd look at my notes, look at the market, see how much cash I had, transfer money into those accounts, keep those long-term goals in mind, and just keep plugging away at it. A lot of these things, it's just going to be more like a habit that you establish. It's not going to be something that's going to be instantaneous. You're going to get the thought in your mind, okay, let me keep this goal in mind, okay, and maybe consider 2 or 3 at once. See what you can do. This is all on your own schedule, so it's not something that anybody's pressuring me to do. It's just something I'm doing for my own good. So with all of this in mind, again, my list has just grown incredibly over the years of what I have on this little app. Just a notepad, just keeping track of where I'm going. And honestly, I should go back and delete some of it and kind of clean it up. But it's kind of fun to see ideas that I had going back a couple years ago and to where I'm at now. And I blew past some of these goals and ideas that I was working on. So that's one way to do it. Now, another thing that's a free app that I'm not sponsored by or anything like that is called Ample. And it's a free app on the iOS store. I'm not sure if it's something you can get through Android or any of these other type of stores. But what it does is just a manual tracker that as time goes on, you're going to input multiple accounts. So I can do my retirement account and I can give it a custom name. And let's say every 2 weeks, I'll go in there, maybe in the morning, because that's when the price is reset for the mutual funds in the 401k. And I'll track what the amount is. Now, I don't put in like, hey, I just had a paycheck contribution, but I'll just put the number in, what the value of the account, just real simple. And it'll create a graph chart over time. And I can look at that and see how how my personal net worth has grown. So I do own a home. I have a car that's paid off. I have a Roth IRA, a workplace 401k, a high yield health savings account. I guess it's just a health savings account. And I have investments within that, but there's a cash portion and an investment portion, but I just give the total. And then I have a couple of brokerage accounts where I have access to that money, and I am taxed on a yearly basis off the performance for capital gains as well as dividends. So each account I can update however often I want. It's all manual. There are other sites you can use that have automation and they log into your accounts. I honestly don't like giving my password out to those sites, even if it is a trusted app or program. It's just something I'm not comfortable with doing. And so I'll just open my phone, I'll glance at what the balance is, and I'll just round it up to the nearest dollar or round it down and just input the amount. And over the course of time, I can see the tracking of the personal net worth on the Ample app. And it's great. It doesn't bug me, it doesn't have pop-ups, it doesn't beg me to upgrade. If I do want to upgrade and pay, there are enhanced features you can do on that. So it's up to you if that's something you want to do. Again, I'm not sponsored by them, but it's just a really great thing that now that I've been tracking this a little bit more closely over the last few years, I can honestly see the progress and feel a little bit more confident in what I'm working on and actually have a visualization. So, you know, in the course of investing, you're going to have to weigh the options. You know, you have your monthly obligations of your rent and your mortgage. Those have to come first. You have to get that paid. And of course, your car and your utilities, internet, cell phone, all that kind of stuff, streaming services. Get all those paid. Establish that buffer of how much extra cash you have, and then you're going to have to allocate it to workplace 401k, taxable brokerage, and you know, maybe you want to put money aside for a big expense coming up, like a property tax bill. Maybe there's a car repair you need, something like that. And then the other one would be car insurance and home insurance. Those are costing more as time goes on. So anyway, just a quick update here on how I track progress, make notes, check in with myself, add to those notes. You know, this is an evolving process. You know, I'm probably somewhere around the 70% mark of actually completing a FIRE journey and getting into the point where I can retire early. I'm past the halfway point, but I'm still kind of grinding away. So these are little things that I do to keep myself motivated, not lose track of where I'm at, and just keep in mind this is a long journey. It's not a instant process where I can just flip a switch and here I go. You know, if the stress was at a point where I couldn't take it anymore, maybe it would be you know, a quicker decision to make. But you'd have to make some sacrifices, and I'm not quite willing to do that yet. I'm still in my prime earning years right now, so I want to contribute to my accounts and you know, fund everything the best I can while I'm still able-bodied. You know, I have vacation time, I have personal days. I want to make use of that and still enjoy life now while I'm working and treat myself every once in a while. Okay, so with all that, thanks so much for stopping by, watching my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.